2012. Episode is titled Seeya, Sandy. Comic Week is sponsored by Arkus, your cog computing experts. And I'm your host, Jason Atwood, post-apocalyptic Sandy podcast. Joining me across what is becoming a bigger and bigger digital aisle, it's actually a couple desks, is Justin. Justin, how are you doing today?
We've expanded the studio.
We're in a new studio. It might sound a little weird, bouncy off the mics.
The acoustics in here are fantastic.
They do sound good. We should probably do this in a shower.
Ooh.
Imagine how that would just sound so awesome. That sounds wrong, but awesome. All right. We have a lot to talk about. We had no podcast last week. A little thing happened to us that we were not able to broadcast. The joke is we probably could have broadcast, but we didn't have our mics.
We couldn't get to our mics.
Probably could have done it just right out of the Mac.
Yeah, I don't think people would have enjoyed listening to that.
Hey guys, live from Sydney. For all of you who don't know, nothing has happened in the United States in the last 2 weeks at all. No megastorm, superstorm, and there's no new president in the United States, so that's true.
Same old.
So we'll get right back into it. I'll circle back in my pick of the week. I'll circle back into talking about some of the updates on Sandy. We're okay. Arkus made it through. So many more people, so much more damage. Our hearts and thoughts go out to everybody, and really appreciate especially all the love from other states coming to New York, New Jersey area, Connecticut area. That's where we're based. Just want to say a big shout out to everybody. So and for everybody who checked in, there's a lot of people checking in on Twitter. Hey, you guys, you okay? So everybody's fine. Some still without power. But everybody that we know is sort of on the way back to the mend. Yeah.
I agree.
Like,
couldn't have said it better myself.
It's like, I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Okay.
What am I going to say that you didn't already say?
That's true. Moving on. All right, so we're not going to talk about Sandy or the new president, but we will talk about the couple blog posts. We managed to get blog posts up in the middle of the storm.
That's right.
Because the blog master requires that the blog posts are done the week before.
That's right.
So
there's an approval process.
We actually had them in the hopper. So
there's a DR plan for the blog.
We were able to put them up.
Unfortunately, not a DR plan for the podcast. But yeah, we were able to get a few of them up. I think the more interesting of the two from a content perspective is the one that you wrote, which is about managing a family calendar in the cloud using Ical and Icloud from Apple. Everyone who listens to this podcast knows that we're Apple people. And I use the method and products that you talked about in this blog post to manage a family calendar for myself and my family of me and my girlfriend, my huge, enormous family. But I would suggest anybody who has to think about more than just themselves when it comes to scheduling and time management. You go to this blog post, read it over, and try to leverage either this solution, which is very elegant from Apple using iCloud and all their different devices that can connect to iCloud, iCal on the, I think they just renamed it to just calendar, maybe. Yeah. But the calendar apps on your iPads, your iPods, your iPhones, and the calendar app on your Mac can all sync together, and using iCloud, you can have a shared one with email notifications, and you've thrown in some really nice tips and tricks for how to know if an event is for one person or for somebody else, or who's involved, or if it's for everybody.
Covered there,
you really did. You shared it.
I showed the whole thing, like what we do. I even do a shot of my calendar.
I love it. I do what you do. I learned from you. You said, hey, why don't I do this? Why don't you try it? And then we did it. And then I'd asked you, I think, like, how do you know, like, I throw something on there, but it's for me, but it shows up on her calendar. And then you were like, oh, use the initials trick. And we started using the initials trick. And I love it. I mean, I just got a few notifications today that the little lady is off, gonna go to a concert some night or whatever. So I know I got like the night free.
Yeah, the initials trick is good. It works. The idea is you just put your initials at the beginning of the initials of who the person is going to the event or the event is for at the initials. And if you don't put initials, that just means it's for everybody.
It's everyone.
So if my wife puts in, dinner, or this weekend it's like dinner or drive to Natasha's. and puts that in a calendar on our family calendar, that means we're all going to Natasha's. If she put in SHA, which is her initials, colon, and then drive to Natasha's, that means she was going by herself, and then I would be responsible for our 7-year-old daughter. I was just trying to think, like, because one of the people who shall not be named have more than 3 people in their family. I wonder how this, like a bigger family. I guess you
Well, we don't do. I mean, you guys use your 3-letter initials. We use just J and S.
Right.
For the 2 of us. So, I
guess you could go. But
you can just use your first letters. If there's more than 1 S or 1 J or whatever.
5 people in your family, and they're all different.
Yeah, you'd figure it out.
Yeah.
You could be like, the parents could be their first initials, and then the children could just be numbers, like 1, 2, and 3.
Well, and someone commented on the blog post. It's actually the blog post got a lot of comments, and I think it was Judy who actually commented saying, she does this trick, but she uses I forgot what the thing was. Oh, but she has read only for the kids, so it older kids, and then has them doing read only, which I thought was neat. Like, oh yeah, read only, that works. So anyway, that was the family blog post. It's at blog.arkusinc.com, and it is it's called Managing the Family Calendar through Ical, or through Icloud. Again, I'm sure there's a way to do this with Gmail. The 2 features that are really just nice are the push syncing, it just syncs.
Oh yeah, it's great with notification.
And then that every time you add something to a shared calendar, it sends an email to everybody else on who you've shared it with an email, like literally with what the event is and whatever.
And if it updates.
And if you update it, and then it highlights what's been updated.
That's
so
right.
If you move an event from 6 to 7, it then will send you a little thing. So, whereas my wife and I used to have to text each other and say, we used to actually use the acronyms PIP, which was put in palm. When I used to have a palm trio, we would say PIP, put in your palm that we're going on this event. We'd have to put it in our individual. So this way, it kind of just does it naturally. And I'll tell you, it's saved a lot of discussions and a lot of arguments.
A very good use of iCloud.
Yeah. Could almost be worth. I guess iCloud's free, so yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's totally worth it.
It might be worth even the.
I'm gonna show this to my parents at Thanksgiving when they're both there, so I can just show it to both of them at the same time. I don't know if they would use it, but my mom still has a paper calendar on the refrigerator, like for every month.
Yeah.
So she'll pull out the calendar and write on it, and then it gets with a magnet on the refrigerator. But my mom and my dad both have iPhones. My mom has an iPad, and they both have Macs. So they're all Apple.
Right.
They both have iCloud. I mean, if they have to, I guess, have an iCloud account. I guess you don't have to, but I'm pretty sure they do. I think they would like this. Yeah. Although I talked to my mom about it once before, and she was like, I still really just like having the piece of paper so I can just look at it.
I like having a piece of paper that is only in one place that I can't take with me.
She just likes it so that she can look. It doesn't get lost. It's magnet. It's in a magnet. Yeah. It's magnets
when
are.
When hits you, you can't get to that magnet. No, I listen. I love it. Anyway, I've been doing this for years. It's a neat little trick. I'd love to hear if you have other ideas of ways you use calendars in a family situation. Hey, listen, put them on discuss.
Yeah, throw them in the comments. It's one of the more heavier commented blog posts. Briefly, there's a second blog post that was put up just this week. Just
the more
self-promotional one, which I'll try not to be. But we did at Arkus launch our new versions of our products, Compliance Locker for capturing chatter posts for compliance and audit purposes, and the Permissioner for mass assigning and mass revoking permission sets. Now supporting global permission sets from Winter 13. We got that patch out there pretty quick.
To Dreamforce and you saw whatever you saw at Dreamforce is now available.
Now available live on the App Exchange.
And we have been updated things, and our new logos are up there, and they're both free. So that could be our CloudFocus App Picks of the week, but they're not. They're both free. Check them out. And if you really like them and use them, hey, listen, nothing better than leaving us a review on the App Exchange.
We love reviews, and we're commenting on them. We're getting reviews. We're being social about the new App Exchange. We're commenting back and forth. People are putting ideas for features up there. We're going back and forth about use cases.
In the App Exchange, the new launch was in August, but there's supposed to be something coming up. They said part of the thing was they were going to put reviews, and then they were going to put other sections like ideas and support, and there's other sections. So hopefully,
right now it's all in the comment thread in the reviews section.
I'd like to have it be in its own section because then we can actually monitor it there.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's coming soon. So that's the new permissioner and compliance.
And thanks for everyone who's already given us a nice review.
Can you leave more than one review?
I mean, I could review it. I haven't. You have. I won't review our own products.
We'll always review our own. We actually use it.
We do.
I mean, combined
we don't
just sits there and does it.
Yeah, we don't really use the permissioner all that much. I mean,
signing and revoking permissions.
Yeah.
Maybe. All right. Next up on the blog or on the agenda was a JP Seabury.
That's right.
Seabury.
A fellow MVP.
And up on the Google Plus, which is kind of interesting. It's funny. He just posted something today saying, "How do I go check?" I guess someone was using the My Domain feature of Salesforce, and someone asked, "How do I check it?" And so I said, "Oh, you go to trust.com and you can put in your My Domain, and they'll tell you what pod you're on, what Salesforce pod." It's interesting. He didn't know that. I don't know. I thought that was kind of.
Why do you got to call him out?
I am calling you out. Well, we're saying that you posted a nice story too. But SAP goes after Salesforce.com with new social software products and strategy.
Yeah, he referenced an article from Computer World, but he wrote up a little. I didn't know Google Plus. I don't really know Google Plus very well because
I've been telling you about this for about
I mean, he wrote like a little blog post here on Google Plus. I feel like Google Plus might just take over the world one day when everyone figures it out. I haven't figured it out yet, but yeah, well, that's the thing.
It does make it the thing.
It's pretty neat. So he wrote a little thing about SAP Jam, a new tool from SAP, a new collaboration tool. Apparently, they're abandoning Streamwork. I don't know what that is. I also have never heard of SAP Jam until it was posted here and brought to my attention. But apparently SAP is going after Salesforce and Yammer and the rest of them with a social collaboration tool. And someone posted a screenshot of it here, and it looks like Facebook.
Yeah.
It looks just like Facebook. The whole color scheme, everything.
If you're going to do this, don't make the colors the same. Like, use, like, green. Don't use blue, because it just seems like, wow, you really did just copy that correctly.
I don't even understand, like, I guess I don't understand the SAP environment enough to understand if this is integrated with anything that SAP is doing, or if this is just a side off to the side collaboration tool that someone might use and purchase from SAP.
It certainly doesn't look like...
It looks off to the side, doesn't it?
It does. It looks like people are posting videos and presentations, but it doesn't look like... I'm not looking at like an opportunity or like a person. I mean, SAP is like, it's like people management and God, I'm sure they have big suites of stuff. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, you know. I feel like this is like, you know, everybody's got to be there, so everybody's going to get into the game. Everybody's going to start to, you know, get to the social, going to build these things. You know, in some ways, Salesforce was ahead of it, and now Salesforce is out, you know, out in front with Chatter. Still think Chatter is probably the weakest part of Chatter is probably the name Chatter. It'll be interesting to see if they change that. Don't you think? Don't you feel like the weakest part of Salesforce Chatter is the name?
No, I like the name. I like Chatter.
It's too childish.
I like it.
Jam is not bad, but like,
well, there's Yammer, there's Chatter, there's
collab,
there's Jam, there's Jive, there's a lot of them. I don't think Chatter's that bad.
It's too, and then they use that whole chatter.
Well, they don't use that anymore. You haven't heard that in years.
They kidized it. I think they need to make it more of a serious thing.
It is a serious thing. I like it. I think it's a fine. I think it's a fine name. I don't think there's anything wrong with the branding of Chatter. It's not going away because they're Chatter Answers, Chatter Communities. They're not removing the name Chatter from anywhere. They could have rolled out Social Answers, Communities. They didn't. They rolled out Chatter Answers and Chatter Communities.
Well, now they put a lot of effort into Chatter.
Yeah, so it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, they've probably done all the trademarks and stuff. You're right. I don't know.
We had to change the name of our product to Compliance Locker because we could not use the word Chatter.
Yeah, you can't use
so that ain't going anywhere. Ain't going nowhere.
Next up, speaking of things that are gone, this is kind of just circling back to something. It's not a big news story, But it's something circling back to after the Google I/O conference,
Mhm.
and throw in a little Google non-Salesforce news. They had the Google I/O conference. They talked about a lot of their new features. The big things were really the glasses, Google, whatever. And then they had they showed up the Nexus Q, which is the Apple TV competitors, the Sphere, and it looked cool.
That little like ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as a sphere.
Did you say sphere?
Yeah, I did say sphere.
Oh, I thought you said something. I thought you said something else.
Oh. But now it's gone. They pulled the plug on it.
I don't understand that.
It's like gone from the store. You can't buy it. They never shipped any of them. I understand it. I think everybody read it. It's like, well, why? It was
too much money, right?
More money. It had less features. It's just kind of interesting. I threw it in there because it's like, wow, did Google sort of fail on that so quickly?
Have they failed on TV just totally? Because didn't they have the Google TV?
They have Google TV.
Has that failed? I haven't ever been to a person's house that has one who's been like, check out my Google TV.
No. But then again, I own Roku, and I don't know anybody else in the world who owns Roku either.
Well, I do. The partner that shall remain nameless owns a Roku.
You bought Roku?
Yes, and I might be asking for a Roku from somebody for the holidays because I really want one. I won't buy it for myself.
Oh, okay.
Hanukkah Harry might be visiting and bringing me a Roku.
Hanukkah, yeah. Anyway, Nexus Q.
I'm waiting it out because the only reason why I want a Roku, there's actually only one reason is HBO Go.
Yep.
On the Roku, because now the Apple TV has Hulu Plus.
Have you tried just pushing from here to the TV from your computer?
From my laptop? No, but I'm sure it would work.
Oh, but you need the new version of Apple TV.
I don't have that. No, I have two older versions of Apple TV.
You can't do airport streaming or air.
I can AirPlay to my Apple TVs. Yeah, I've done it.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the old. I have the second gen Apple TV.
But there's not. Now we just rattled. I just made that.
Well, the Nexus Q has rat-holed us into Apple TV land and streaming. People know we love streaming.
You can push. I think with the old version, you can push like specific video, but you can't mirror your display.
Oh.
The new one you can mirror your display. You've seen this in my house.
Yes, I have.
Sunday,
yeah.
I put up the fantasy on one of the TVs.
I don't know if I can do that or not. I haven't tried it.
Anyway,
I'm also waiting.
You just go to Google because isn't HBO Go just like you can literally go to HBO.com and sign in? Can't you?
I don't know. I've never tried that. I always just do it on my iPad.
Yeah.
It's like that's like one of my favorite iPad apps is HBO Go.
Then from the iPad, I wonder if you can then mirror that.
Well, you can't. You can't from the iPhone.
Right.
I've tried that. It didn't work. It took the audio, didn't take the video.
Yeah,
So it was spitting the audio out of the TV, but the video was just blank.
Yeah.
Which was weird.
Anyway, I'll combine this news with Apple TV and their latest release said that they sold like 5.4 million Apple TVs.
It's a really nice device. I love it. We have two. One in the bedroom, one in the living room. And we have Hulu Plus and we have Netflix. And it's a great source of content for us. We love it.
If Apple TV, you're right.
They need HBO Go because that's why I haven't bought myself a Roku because I'm like, why do I need this other device? I know it's coming. Apple TV has all this stuff on it. It has the Netflix. It took them like Hulu was on the Roku before it was on Apple TV, but Apple TV got it. Apple TV has like the MLB package. They have the NBA package. They have all this stuff. No, the NHL is blacked out, but still, they have all this. They have all these packages. They're gonna strike a deal with HBO Go.
Yeah.
I'm also waiting for the Showtime app to be supported by our cable provider. Right now, there's Showtime. I don't even know what it's called. I have it on my phone. It's called like Showtime something.
Oh, yeah.
It's Showtime something, not to go, but something.
Shogo?
Maybe. I don't know. I can look. And right now, the only two providers that they support are it's called Show Anytime, are AT&T, that
they're
Uverse
Yep.
and Verizon. So they don't support everybody just yet, and I would watch that one too.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for these things to make their way onto the Apple TVs because
so we're still going to go down to the streaming TV thing. CBS, I'll throw in more news. CBS just signed 2 days ago with Hulu to put a lot of content into Hulu Plus.
There's no reason for people to not have their content on these
I will say
things
the one
now.
thing, and we made this a pick of the week before, and I'll make it again for people who didn't listen to episode 72. No idea if that's it.
Don't quote him on that.
Was although I can look it up.
Disc of Death number 84.
Fanhaven, which allows you
Fanhattan,
right?
which is a great app.
Which is
I still use that to this day.
That allows you to go and you can basically look in movies or TV, and then you can put in a series, and then it'll tell you where it's available. It's not 100% accurate. It's okay.
There's a series I'm waiting for it to be available somewhere, and it's just not available anywhere. Homicide: Life on the Streets.
Oh, I'm waiting for Gold Rush season 2 to go on.
Oh, it should be there because season 3 just started. Oh man,
I'm so upset.
You should be.
It's on iTunes.
It's so good.
$35 for Gold.
I'm up to date. I TiVo that one.
Yeah,
there's a new one that started the other night called Moonshiners, and I was like, "Ooh, this looks good." Moonshiners.
Oh, yeah,
I'm into that stuff.
Wow.
We just got into moonshine. Well, we just talked about Google. Why don't we go to the next Google news about Gmail? And Gmail now being able to make the claim and make it with some authority that they are the world's top email service.
Yeah.
I believe they claimed this about a year ago, and there were some folks that said, "Hey there, guy, slow down. You're not number one just yet." And like ComScore and all that got involved. And if you look at it now, Google or Gmail.com, I guess that's how they measure it, like unique visitors to the websites. Gmail experienced 287.9 million unique worldwide visitors last month. That is insane. While Microsoft's Hotmail, I don't know anyone who uses Hotmail, received 286.2 million, just below. While Yahoo had 281 million.
That's even crazier than anything else is that Yahoo is just right below both of them.
They're right there, and Yahoo...
If I'd asked you 5 minutes ago before reading that, I said, okay, rank them and tell me where they are percentage, I would have been like, all right, Gmail's way ahead, then Hotmail's somewhere not even close. But then
Yahoo I would have had below AOL.
I would have had Yahoo like down there with.
Because I know people with AOL, tons of people still with AOL, and I know people with Yahoo's too.
Tons of people.
No, I know quite a few people who still use their AOL email accounts, and
6 baud modem.
I'm surprised. That was worldwide numbers. Yahoo has more visitors than Gmail in the United States. Yahoo has 76 million unique in the United States, and Gmail has 69. So they kill them in the United States. And Hotmail's, I mean, this is why you'd say Hotmail. I mean, they only have 35 million, so like about half in the United States of Gmail. So, they have more of an international market, but still.
Why did we not start Madmail?
Madmail?
Madmail.com. Where are you? I'm Jatwood at Madmail. Rolls off the tongue.
Madmail?
Madmail.
I don't know.
Hotmail, Gmail, Madmail.
I don't know. I actually don't even like the fact that the word mail is involved. Like, I feel like they should have completely shifted the paradigm when whoever it was who started email said, this is not mail. It's something completely different.
We took the mail and we made something completely different.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's thinner. This is
lighter.
thinner mail.
It's mail, but it's lighter and thinner.
Much
more expensive.
I watched the Apple event. For those who know what we're referencing, I watched the iPad mini announcement.
Yes.
They really are.
Wants us to talk about iPad mini.
Mine will be on. I'm getting it in 4 days.
Excellent.
It's shipped. It's in Japan right now. So says FedEx. I watched the video on my Apple TV. It was on there. It's like iTunes event. So I was like, oh, cool. I watched that. And man, they really are the masters of trashing their just previous and still in the store generation products, making them look like garbage,
but
still selling them and making the next one seem like it's the.
Hey,
we took the greatest thing ever, and we made it look like complete garbage,
right.
And now we have the greatest thing ever. It's the greater than the greatest thing ever. It's the greatest.
So I
ever.
Too ordered Mini. I think you went. What did you go? 16.
I went
Wi-Fi?
16 Wi-Fi. Did not get the antenna. Which, looking back, I may have made a mistake. I probably should have gotten the Verizon 4G LTE version, but it's all right. I've lived without that forever, and I'm fine with it. My iPhone tethers AT&T. AT&T weathered the storm. Through Sandy, it worked. I was out. Internet was out for me for like half a day. I'm like,
first world problems.
Yeah, rich people problems, first world problems, whatever. So I just used the phone and it connected and it was perfect. So I didn't have a problem with that, but I kind of wish I would have gotten the Verizon one just so I would have a different provider. And, you can turn it on and off, so you're really paying more upfront for the ability to turn it on and off. So I could just keep it off until, maybe, I'm traveling this month or something like that. I want to turn it on.
Yeah, I did exactly what you didn't do, which is I did 32 gig.
Oh, you got a bigger one than I did.
Yeah, I can't go 16. Not with the iPad. With the phone, I can use 16 because I don't put a lot of content. But with the iPad, with the games and stuff like that, I like to put. So I went 32 Verizon, and I'm basically my way of convincing myself and/or the wife that I should get this was I was going to replace my MiFi. So I carry around a MiFi because just for that reason, I need backup internet. I need to have internet with me. I can tether. But I need another one because sometimes it doesn't work, and in my business, you got to be able to get to the internet. So I'm basically taking a pound or so off my daily commute bag because
it's good for your back.
A pound less on my thing, and I'm not in a whole device that I'm not carrying around with me. So I was like, that's good. I'm happy with that. It plus also breaks this. It also makes my carrying chargers and stuff, it goes down because it's both lightning now.
Right.
So I now go down to one cord.
Yeah.
So it's also.
I'm actually thinking about getting rid of my first gen iPad, which is my only iPad.
Well, you have 2 in the household. 3 iPads total in the household now.
Yeah, but I mean, these are not like one is mine and one is hers. Like they're not shared.
No, that's what I say when I say.
No, we don't have a family iPad. But I'm thinking about just getting rid of the one that I have. I saw them selling on eBay. They were the first gen 32 gig Wi-Fi only. I saw one that just sold for like $2 and change. Yeah. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I could almost pay for the Mini. And I mean, once I have the Mini, I feel like I'm never going to use the original one anymore.
I'm definitely going to keep it until I decide that the Mini is really all that and a bag of chips. The reason I normally don't get the radio, the antenna with it is because I kick it down, in the family hierarchy. It's me, then my wife, then the child, and so I kick the old devices down, and I always thought, well, why am I getting this with service on it? Because when I kick it down, they're not going to need the service. So I'm basically overpaying, paying $120, and then when I kick it, when it goes down to the family, well, then they're not going to use that at all. So I basically can't recoup that cost. So I always get the Wi-Fi version, but this time I really want it. I've seen the partnership when not named. He has the Verizon one, and just the ability just to sort of always use it for email or whatever. It's always connected. I kind of like that. So, but I have that same issue now. It's like, oh, am I going to kick this down a notch? And when I do, is it then going to become, what? Is someone going to use this device? But without cellular, I'll probably just.
We'll review it when next week, because I'll have it by then.
So I can look at it and
mine should come. Did you get a shipping notification?
No.
Well, then mine will come first.
All right.
We'll review it next week. We'll have it in our hands. We both have received our covers, so we know the size. We know what it's going to be size-wise.
Sort of, yes.
But we have yet to actually receive the device.
Right, let's talk about stuff that other people can buy.
Or not buy.
Let's talk about some CloudFocus app picks of the week. Why don't you go ahead with your pick since it's the 115th
All right.
episode.
Mine's free.
First.
Oh, thanks.
For a special treat.
Mine's free.
Oh, I like it. I feel like we picked this.
No. We picked something else.
I feel like I own this.
You don't really own. Yeah, maybe you do. I don't know. It's called Menu Tab for Facebook.
I like
We have Calendar Bar, which was a pick, which cost money.
Yes.
This was free. It puts a little. This is for the Mac OS X.
Yep.
So this puts a little icon in your system. I guess I don't even know what it's called. System tray, system bar, or whatever it is.
Menu bar.
Menu bar.
Still is.
Okay. Just like the calendar, whatever it's called, calendar bar. This Menu Tab for Facebook puts a little. It looks like Facebook Mobile and I'm going to turn my laptop towards you. In your bar here, and you just can do everything within Facebook. And everything you're following, you can post things, you can comment on things, you can like things, and then very easily close it. It integrates with Notification Center, which I've turned off, because if someone, messages you or does something, it'll pop up as a little icon in your menu. What I like about it is it without the Notification Center, it just turns from black to red. So if somebody's posted something on your wall or commented on something, it just goes to red, and you know that somebody's notified you of something or done something.
At you.
Why are you scowling at me?
Oh, really? You need to be notified when people...
I'm not notified. It doesn't notify anything. It just turns red. That's all. Yeah. It's a very quick, easy way to use Facebook.
It's funny because you're not a big Facebook user.
No, but I like to browse it. I'm more of a browser. Facebook browser.
I will say and this is not gonna
free, by the way, from FipLab, who makes a ton of apps.
It's called Menu Tab for Facebook, free. I'm sure they have versions that go on other...
Yeah, they have tons of apps. Right. If you go look at their... they make a lot of social, like, Pinterest things.
I
neat
will
little
say
company.
This is the one time a year in the last, let's say, 3 days, every week. Actually, two opposing things for Facebook. And I'm going to make my pick, or I'm going to talk about it, then I'll make my pick. Facebook in the last 7 days.
It's been insane.
Well, it's been insane in one way with sharing information and people posting pictures about Sandy and are you okay and connecting, which I found really useful, and I really like that about Facebook. And then it flipped the other way, and it went towards the election where, again, everybody's got their own stuff about stuff, and I don't, that's fine. But boy, watching friends and go on each other's posts and sort of make comments and sort of get nasty. It's like to me it kind of brought out the worst of Facebook, whereas Sandy brought out sort of the best of it.
I don't post political things. I don't like or comment on, like, if somebody says something, I don't even like it. Like, not I'll read it. I don't use the like feature in Facebook. Like, I stay completely away. That's not for me to talk about on Facebook. Like, something that you would, you're having in some people's minds, a inappropriate conversation with hundreds of people, sometimes thousands.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't do it because I just follow by the rules, right? Which is, sex, religion, and politics.
I'm with you.
It's not that I don't discuss them. I will. Come over to my house, let's discuss them. But in a more public place where your words can be taken off mention or whatever, I find it's just probably not the way. And it's not that I haven't done it in the past. I certainly have. I've met people who, don't believe the same things. I have very good friends, and I don't need to, sort of get their rile up, and they don't need to get my rile up, and so it's like, I'm just going to let it go.
The internet's written in pen.
Yes, very good. Social network.
It's been on TV.
All right, so my pick is actually something that I've been using. I'm going to go to the Sandy example. I have been looking for and I have probably made many picks of Twitter, versions of Twitter, like Twitter something, Twitter this, Twitter that. This one, I saw it was, I don't know what got me. Oh, it was Icloud thinking that I was like, that's why I got to have it. Because one of the things about Twitter is where you are and how many messages you have and how many mentions and all that. It doesn't sync very well across multiple things. And so whenever you're using your iPad or your iPhone or Android or your, the desktop version, it's always like, oh, I already saw those 3 messages. And I feel like that's always a big waste of my time. Like, oh, I saw those 3 mentions. So this one promised, it was really high rated. It's called Tweetbach. Is it Tweetbot? Yeah, it's Tweetbot. So it makes sense. Tweetbot. Something.
Yeah, you wrote something different.
And again,
we'll disregard what you
yet
wrote.
Another Twitter client. What makes it good? It's got some nice UI.
It looks like the old Tweety UI.
It looks like Tweety. It works great on the iPad. It has a great iPad version. Has a great iPhone version. What I think is interesting is I was reading the reviews and they were saying, "Oh, this costs a lot. It costs money." And different versions have different thing. I think this is like $9 for the macOS version. It's like $3 for the iPad version. Maybe $2 for the iPhone version. But what they were saying was because of the new rules of Twitter, to get certain APIs, you actually have to pay for it. So when you're paying the developer, you're kind of supporting their access to the right things. But here's where I started to use it, and I've sort of changed my view of Twitter. My view of Twitter changed over Sandy. I went and created, and I guess maybe I just never had the ability to do this very well. I went and created a group. They call it a timeline in this.
A list?
A list, a group, or whatever. I created one called NYC Emergency, and I started to add Con Ed, Mayor Bloomberg, Cuomo, all the people who were tweeting about the things that were going on for the New York City Emergency, New York schools, New Jersey Power. I just put in a bunch of people in this list, and I've been using. And not only did it sync across all my devices, but where I was in the list and the tweets syncs across as well. So I don't have to reread the same 50 tweets that I just read. But it became a great source of data. I'm amazed, I guess I just woke up to this, the government tweets a ton. And they have stuff that, like MTA, like our local subway service. So I had all of these things and just watching them. In fact, I was sometimes live watching them, Mayor Boomer give his press conference, what's going on, where there's and they were tweeting everything he said almost live as he said them. It just blew my mind, and it was a way to keep up on what's actually going on, where things are happening, where there's shelter, where the power's coming on, how many people. I mean, Cuomo was unbelievable, tweeting out like every 3 hours he'd tweet out the number of people without power and and I know it's not him, I know it's somebody, but it really blew my mind that Twitter became this great source with a customized group, a great source of finding out information about Sandy and the storm and who was affected. And again, I was affected, but like what was going on around in the local governments. All the different services are on there. So I mean, I have the mayor's office, the city of New York, FEMA, Homeland Security, FDNY. I mean, I just New York 311. Just a bunch of them. Anyway, it was a great resource during Sandy, but Tweetbot made it really easy to access and again across all devices. So if you're looking for yet another Twitter, if you haven't bought the other 4, Tweetbot, very, very good. Does everything you could possibly want. Has lots of nice features. I just really like the syncing between the 3, and the view on OS X in this version is really, really well done, and feels like kind of like a great app. So that's my pick. Again, many different prices. I don't even know what. I mean, I think this one was like $9.99, and so total I think I was all in for about $20. But gave me something to do while Sandy hit us. So that's it for this week. Wow, big episode, almost 40 minutes. And go to blog.arkusinc.com, read up on all the blog posts you missed. We'll be back next week. Remember to subscribe in iTunes, leave us reviews. We're in the Dreamforce portal. Where else are we? We're everywhere. On Twitter, twitter.com/ArkusInc. Justin's giving me the I don't really care.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. We're in the social. We're on LinkedIn. You can actually follow us, all this stuff on LinkedIn as well. We'll be back next week, maybe with a little bit more a little less post-Sandy blues. But until then, and as we always say, although it does feel inappropriate, enjoy those cloudy days.